The PGA Tour has seen its share of controversies. Bitter rivalries, shocking defections, ugly lawsuits, but nothing, absolutely nothing, has prepared the golf world for the firestorm that erupted this week. At the center of the storm is Rory McIlroy, the four-time major champion and the most respected voice in the sport. And at the center of McIlroy's crosshairs is a man who needs no introduction, Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States and the owner of some of the most famous golf courses on the planet. It started with a simple question at a press conference. A journalist asked McIlroy about the possibility of the PGA Tour hosting an event at Trump's Doral course in Miami. McIlroy's answer was polite at first. Then it was pointed. Then it was brutal. He called the idea morally unacceptable. He questioned the PGA Tour's values, and he suggested that any player who supported such an event should examine their conscience. The golf world exploded. Trump fired back within hours. Players were forced to choose sides. The PGA Tour went into crisis mode. This is the story of how Rory McIlroy sparked chaos that could tear the tour apart. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell. The press conference was supposed to be routine. Rory McIlroy was at Quail Hollow preparing for the Wells Fargo Championship, an event he has won 3 times. The questions were predictable. How is your form? How is the course playing? What are your thoughts on the upcoming majors? And then a journalist from a British outlet asked a question that changed everything. Rory, there have been rumors that the PGA Tour is considering adding Trump National Doral to the schedule as a signature event. Would you support that? McIlroy paused. He took a sip of water. He looked down at the table, and then he spoke. I think it would be a terrible decision, he said. Doral is a great golf course. It has hosted many great tournaments, but we cannot ignore who owns it. Donald Trump is a divisive figure. He has said things that are harmful to many communities. The PGA Tour has worked hard to present itself as an inclusive organization. Hosting an event at a Trump property would undermine all of that work. The room went silent. Journalists looked at each other. Cameras zoomed in on McIlroy's face. He was not done. I understand that golf is about finding common ground, he continued. But some things are more important than golf. And I believe that associating with Donald Trump at this moment in history would be a stain on the PGA Tour. I would not play in that event, and I hope my fellow players would join me in boycotting it. The backlash was immediate. Trump, who has never been shy about attacking his critics, took to his social media platform within 2 hours. Rory McIlroy is a very angry little man, Trump wrote. He couldn't win a major if his life depended on it. My courses are the best in the world. The PGA Tour would be honored to play at Doral. McIlroy is just jealous because I have better courses and more money than he will ever have. The reply was vintage Trump, but it also escalated the conflict dramatically. What had been a policy disagreement was now a personal feud, and the golf world was forced to choose sides. Reactions poured in from every corner of the sport. Tiger Woods, who has played golf with Trump many times, was asked about McIlroy's comments at a separate press conference. Woods chose his words carefully. I respect Rory's opinion. He's entitled to it. But I also respect the office of the presidency. I think we need to be careful about mixing politics and golf. The game has always been a refuge from that stuff. Other players were less diplomatic. Justin Thomas, a close friend of McIlroy's, said, Rory spoke from the heart. I support him. Bryson DeChambeau, who has played at Trump courses and praised Trump in the past, said, I don't agree with Rory. Doral is an incredible venue. The politics should be separate from the golf. Patrick Reed, never one to avoid controversy, tweeted, a single word. Rory who? The PGA Tour, caught in the middle, issued a carefully worded statement. The PGA Tour has no current plans to add Trump National Doral to the schedule. We respect the diverse opinions of our players and remain focused on delivering the best possible product to our fans. The statement satisfied no one. McIlroy's supporters wanted a firm commitment to avoid Trump properties. Trump's supporters wanted a public apology from McIlroy. Neither came. To understand why Rory McIlroy's comments have caused such an explosion, you have to understand the complicated history between Donald Trump and professional golf. Trump has been a fixture in the golf world for decades. He owns more than a dozen courses worldwide, including some of the most prestigious names in the sport: Trump Turnberry in Scotland, Trump National Bedminster in New Jersey, and of course, Trump National Doral in Miami. These courses have hosted major championships, PGA Tour events, and European Tour events. They have been praised by architects and players alike. But Trump's ownership has always been controversial. Even before he entered politics, his business practices and personal behavior drew criticism. After he became president in 2016, the controversy intensified. Many golf organizations faced a choice: continue to hold events at Trump properties or distance themselves from a figure who had become deeply polarizing. The PGA of America made a dramatic decision in 2021. It stripped Trump's Bedminster course of the 2022 PGA Championship, citing irreparable damage to the brand. The R&A, which governs the Open Championship, has said it has no plans to return to Turnberry as long as Trump owns it. The PGA Tour, however, has been more cautious. It has not held a tournament at a Trump property since 2016, when the WGC Cadillac Championship was played at Doral. But the Tour has never formally ruled out a return, and in recent months, rumors have swirled that the Tour is considering Doral as a replacement for the John Deere Classic, which was controversially canceled. The rumors gained traction when Trump met privately with Commissioner Jay Monahan in February 2026. The contents of that meeting have not been disclosed, but sources say Monahan was receptive to the idea of a Doral event. McIlroy's comments were a direct response to those rumors, and they represented a significant escalation. McIlroy has rarely spoken about Trump directly. He has generally avoided politics, preferring to focus on his game and his charitable work. But those close to him say that he has been increasingly frustrated with what he sees as the PGA Tour's willingness to sell its soul for money. Rory has always believed that golf should be above politics, a source close to McIlroy told Golfix. But he also believes that some things are non-negotiable, and doing business with someone who has been accused of inciting violence and undermining democracy, that's non-negotiable for him. He couldn't stay silent anymore. The source added that McIlroy had discussed his concerns with other players before the press conference. He talked to a few guys. Some agreed with him, some didn't. But he didn't coordinate his comments. He spoke for himself. That's what makes this so powerful. It wasn't a calculated move. It was genuine. The political firestorm ignited by Rory McIlroy's comments has spread far beyond the golf world. Within 24 hours, the story was leading newscasts on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and the BBC. Members of Congress were asked to weigh in. Late-night talk show hosts made jokes. And Donald Trump, never one to let a controversy die, kept pouring gasoline on the fire. Trump's initial social media attack on McIlroy was just the beginning. Over the next 2 days, he posted a series of increasingly personal insults. Rory: "McIlroy is a loser like the rest of the PGA Tour," one post read. "I made golf cool again. He's just a crybaby who can't handle success." Another post included a photoshopped image of McIlroy crying with the caption, "When you realize you'll never be as rich as Trump." The posts were widely condemned as childish and unbecoming of a former president. But they also energized Trump's base. His supporters flooded McIlroy's social media accounts with insults and threats. McIlroy's wife, Erica, reportedly received multiple threatening messages. The family's security was increased. Political figures quickly took sides. Democratic lawmakers praised McIlroy for his courage and integrity. Senator Chuck Schumer tweeted, "Rory McIlroy understands that some things are more important than golf. Thank you for standing up to hate." Republican lawmakers defended Trump. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, "Rory McIlroy is a foreigner who should stay out of American politics. Trump's courses are the best. The PGA Tour needs to grow a spine." The White House was asked about the controversy during a press briefing. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, "The president believes that private organizations have the right to make their own decisions about where to hold events. He also believes that former President Trump's divisive rhetoric is harmful to our country. We hope the golf world can find a way to focus on the game, not the politics." The PGA Tour, meanwhile, found itself in an impossible position. Every statement it issued was criticized from one side or the other. Commissioner Jay Monahan reportedly considered canceling the remainder of the season's press conferences to avoid further questions. But that would have been an admission of weakness. Instead, the tour announced that it would establish a special committee to review its policies regarding venue selection. The committee will include players, sponsors, and independent ethics experts. Its report is due in September 2026. McIlroy, for his part, has refused to back down. In a follow-up interview with Golf Channel, he said, "I stand by every word I said. I did not expect this reaction, but I am not surprised by it. Donald Trump has a way of making everything about him. This is not about him. This is about what the PGA Tour stands for." When asked if he feared retaliation from the tour or from sponsors, McIlroy smiled. "I have enough money. I have enough wins. I have nothing to lose." The controversy has exposed deep divisions within the PGA Tour's player ranks. What began as a simple question about a potential tournament venue has become a litmus test for where players stand on politics, money, and the soul of the game. The PGA Tour has always presented itself as a unified family, but the family is tearing itself apart. Let us examine the three factions that have emerged. The first faction supports Rory McIlroy. This group includes most of the European players, several Nianqing Americans, and a handful of veterans who have never been comfortable with the tour's cozy relationship with power. They argue that the PGA Tour cannot claim to be inclusive while doing business with a figure who has been accused of racism, sexism, and incitement. They believe that the tour should permanently ban Trump properties from the schedule. Their leader is McIlroy himself, though he has not sought the role. The second faction opposes McIlroy. This group includes many of the American players who have played at Trump courses and praised Trump in the past. They argue that politics should be kept out of golf. They believe that Trump is a polarizing figure, but that his courses are among the best in the world. They point out that the PGA Tour has hosted events in countries with far worse human rights records than the United States. They ask, why single out Trump? Their unofficial leader is Bryson DeChambeau, who has called McIlroy's comments divisive and unnecessary. The third faction is the largest, the players who just want to play golf. They are tired of the constant controversies. They are tired of being asked to choose sides. They wish McIlroy had kept his mouth shut. They wish Trump would stop tweeting. They wish the media would focus on the leaderboard instead of the political drama, but they know that is impossible. The genie is out of the bottle. The divisions are not just philosophical, they are personal. Friendships have been strained. Text messages have gone unanswered. Practice rounds that were once routine are now awkward. One player who asked not to be named told Golfix, "I had dinner with a guy I've known for 10 years. We used to laugh about everything. Now we can't even look at each other, because he supports Rory and I don't. Or maybe I support Rory and he doesn't. I don't even remember. It's all a blur." The divisions extend beyond the players. Caddies have chosen sides. Agents have chosen sides. Even spouses have been drawn into the conflict. The PGA Tour has tried to remain neutral, but neutrality is impossible. Every decision the tour makes will be interpreted as taking a side. If the tour schedules an event at a Trump property, it is endorsing Trump. If the tour refuses to schedule an event at a Trump property, it is caving to McIlroy. There is no escape. So where does the PGA Tour go from here? The organization is caught between a rock and a hard place. The rock is Rory McIlroy, the most respected player in the game, who has drawn a line in the sand. The hard place is Donald Trump, a former president with millions of passionate supporters and some of the best golf courses in the world. The PGA Tour cannot satisfy both. It cannot even satisfy most. Whatever it decides, a significant portion of its fan base will be furious. Let us examine three possible outcomes. Outcome 1. The tour capitulates to McIlroy. It announces that it will never schedule a tournament at a Trump property for as long as Trump owns it. It issues a statement affirming its commitment to inclusivity and diversity. Trump fires back with lawsuits and insults. The tour loses access to Doral, Bedminster, and Turnberry, all world-class venues. But it gains the moral high ground. McIlroy and his supporters are satisfied. The controversy dies down. The tour moves on. Outcome 2. The tour stands firm. It announces that Doral is being added to the schedule as a signature event for 2027. It argues that golf should be above politics and that the quality of the course is the only relevant factor. McIlroy follows through on his threat to boycott the event. Other players join him. The event goes on, but without its biggest stars. Trump celebrates. The tour's reputation takes a hit. The divisions within the player ranks deepen. Outcome 3. The tour delays. It announces that the decision will be made by the new Venue Selection Committee and that no action will be taken until 2027. This is the safest political move. It buys time. It allows emotions to cool. It gives the tour an opportunity to see how the political landscape shifts. But it also prolongs the agony. Every press conference will include questions about Trump. Every tournament will be shadowed by the controversy. Which outcome is most likely? According to sources inside the tour, outcome 3 is the current frontrunner. The tour wants to avoid making a decision that will alienate a large portion of its audience. It hopes that by delaying, the controversy will fade. But will it? Trump shows no signs of fading. McIlroy shows no signs of backing down. And the golf world is more divided than ever. Rory McIlroy sparked this fire. Whether he intended to or not, he has forced the PGA Tour to confront a question it has been avoiding for years. What does the tour stand for? The answer will determine not just where tournaments are played, but what kind of organization the PGA Tour wants to be. The clock is ticking, the world is watching, and the chaos is just beginning. For more coverage in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell.